Okay. Sorry for the delay. You know I'm on CP time. Okay. You peep the new Midwatch Cup. Sorry, I'm coughing, bro. All right. So, we are going to be talking about Lumen, aka Severance, and everyone is breaking down like the finale of season 2 that just aired on Thursday, and giving all like the Easter eggs and the hidden details and all of that stuff. And everyone that ever jumped on the bandwagon is now jumping on the bandwagon because it's the end of the season. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying that I was with Severance when it first started season 1, but I did start watching season 1, and I watched it all the way through, and I watched every episode this season as it aired, which I don't always do, but just to be tapped in with the Lumen and Severance and Mark and everybody, and Gemma and Helly and everybody. So I was trying to really think about what I could talk about that would be a little bit different than everybody else. So I am going to talk about the characters. Briefly, I'll discuss the finale. I mentioned a couple of episodes that I thought were really dope. But other than that, I'm going to talk about the characters and the character development because I think that's really what made this season stand out so much stronger. Now, I mean, they pretty much had the same characters they had in season 1. So, I mean, that was awesome. Even characters that we didn't know if they were going to come back or not, but they did. So that was really good. But I'm just going to talk about the characters and their development and kind of what stands out. First, I'll just mention a couple of episodes from season 2. That way, if you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. Now's a good time to watch it, even though we're probably not getting a season 3 until next year. But just kind of things to keep in mind. Now, if you go to the IMDb website and you look up the episode guide, this season has 10 episodes. Last season had 9 episodes. Right? Yep. And that was in 2022. So you can see kind of like the people that were like really in the Severance, like they were really kind of fiending for new episodes. So I'm glad that it came back really strong with 10 strong episodes. And hopefully we'll get 10 good episodes. It airs on Apple TV Plus. And, as I always say, if you don't have that, you can find it if you need to. But it's definitely worth checking out. So if you don't know what Severance is, and I've tried to tell a couple people to watch it, and they've never seen it before, but if you never watched Severance, what is it? You start with Mark, who's the main character, and basically he works in this company in the basement of a building, and there's only like three other people that he works with. Um, so it's a very like it's a very strange kind of layout because you're inside this big building in the basement, and everybody's dressed up like a regular office job, but uh, but there's only four people like in the office. There's like color schemes that are like known for Severance, right? So they got the green kind of like grassy looking floor, white walls essentially, and then desks that kind of like are like together in like a square where everyone kind of like can look at each other, but also like their screens are kind of like blocked off. So no like real cubicles, but I don't know, it's weird. Everyone kind of gets there, like they're staggered as they come in, right? So they don't all walk in together. They all kind of come in one by one. So you don't really know like what's going on, what they're doing. Why the office is so small. And then they kind of have like supervisors, right? Harmony Corbell is like their floor manager, essentially, and then Milchek is kind of like the assistant person. Um, but the tone is like super serious, and again, you don't really know why, and you can kind of just see like they don't necessarily know exactly why they're there either. They say that the work is important yet mysterious. um, or either vice versa, either way around. Um, and stuff goes from like super serious to like over dramatic, but still serious, like mandatory fun, right? If you've ever heard that term before. Um, so that's the gist of it. And starting out, there's four guys that work down there. One guy, he doesn't come back to work anymore, and then he gets replaced by a redheaded girl named Helly. And then you kind of like, as you see her kind of story progress of like starting out there, that's when you kind of start seeing what stuff is, because Mark has already been there. So even though he's the main character, you kind of learning stuff through Helly's eyes, essentially, right? Um, and they don't necessarily know each other outside of work. They all just kind of work there. So season one is basically like unraveling this mystery. The company that they work for is called Lumen. And then you realize that outside of what they do on their floor, Lumen is like a big kind of corporation worldwide. And they have certain practices that people either agree with or they don't with. And they have this procedure called severance, which allows the workers to basically shut their brain off. So when they're at work, they're not feeling that kind of pain and waning of being at work all day. And their innies, which are the people that work down in the basement, they're the ones that basically go to work for them. And then at 5 o'clock, they come back up the elevator, their brain turns back on, and they go home. So, I mean, it's a concept that a lot of people have always thought about, especially if you've worked in any type of office job or lawn job, even like, working in service industry. And like you wish you could just go to work and not really be there and just, get the paycheck. So that's the kind of concept of severance. As the series goes on, you start unraveling like what's going on with what's going on with Lumen with the main characters that are called outies. So the innies obviously are the people that are the people that work downstairs, and the outies are obviously the people that work that live in the outside world, and they have regular lives, right? Families and friends, and they go do stuff. Um, but obviously, you're trying to figure out like what this whole procedure is with Severance and how it kind of like affects the people that work there, and then kind of like the greater world on the outside. Plus, again, everything that happens is very mysterious, um, and very kind of coded, and you're trying to understand like what that's all about. So, if you ever seen Office Space, um, which one of my favorite movies, not to be confused with The Office, but Office Space is a movie um, where like the people that work there hate working there, and it's just a regular like 9 to 5 job. Um, they kind of like take it, they kind of take like those feelings of being at work and make it like way more mandatory that you would be there because you don't have a choice. Your Audi goes to work. Once he goes down the elevator, you just come on. You just turn on. You're the innie. You don't get to go home with everybody else. So every time you open your eyes, you're back at work. Um, and that may be a problem for some people. So, and they don't necessarily. I mean, I guess they do basically get the understanding of what the innie is, what the outie is, that they're different people. So at least they kind of have that kind of breakdown, but it's still the outies don't know the full story of what's going on with the innies, and the innies don't fully know what's going on with the outies. So, so now uh, I'm not gonna ruin it, but so now we're on season 2. And season 2 starts out where there's a lot more that gets unraveled, right? Um, and you learn about Mark and what's going on with him and his family, what's going on him with his Audi, his innie. And so generally they keep the same name, so Mark, but then like Mark S is like the innie's name. Uh, stuff goes down in season 1. So when Mark S comes back to work, essentially he's with like a whole new group of people, and he's not really happy about that because he's like, "Yo, where's my team at? Right? Like, I want to work with my team." And there's reasons why his team isn't there anymore. So he's basically trying to fight for the team to get back. Eventually, they do get back, which is a good thing. But as you learn, anytime those group of people get together, anything can happen. So the other kind of outside story going on with Mark is his relationship with his wife Gemma. Gemma is basically his wife, and they were married. They were trying to have kids. It didn't work out. And then one night, she was going to the store or something. Forgot where she was going, book club or something. She ended up dying. And then you learn that like her death kind of is like the catalyst of why Mark decided to sever himself and kind of deal with the grief and all of this stuff. And the other characters, you learn like what's the reasons why they severed themselves, and um, sometimes it has to do with like feeling like they're saving their soul, or not wanting to be at work, or feeling like they're a better person, their severed person is better, or whatever. Um, so you do get like a full kind of understanding of why these characters are the way that they are, and who they are on the inside and the outside, innies and outies. What makes these characters different, but you still don't understand kind of like what Lumen is doing. And that's kind of like the draw of trying to figure out like why is Lumen looking one way but showing a different way. And then they have all of these kind of like methods and practices and terms that you learn throughout that are kind of like specific to the show. So like here is a person, the four tempers, stuff like that. And you'll start to see like there's codes and for every little thing. And some people are drinking the full Kool-Aid and some people aren't. Which is like every other kind of job you would be at. So season 2 kind of unravels. Mark is trying to get his team back. He finally gets his team back. But now there is this cross-contamination between innies and outies being at certain places at the certain times. And also trying to unravel mysteries of people that either went missing or was supposed to disappeared or would believe they died. And now there's a reason to believe that maybe they're not, and Lumen has something to do with it. So it's a really big thriller. Definitely, I can't say I know any other show like it. Some people, like, there are kind of themes of the Twilight Zone, especially like certain episodes. You can see that they were influenced by the old Twilight Zone, but the Twilight Zone, like, it's an anthology, right? So every episode is different and it's a different story with different people. Whereas this is like one full story, episodic, telling like a full story. And there's a lot of like vibrancy and a lot of life, but a lot of like scarcity and people like really afraid for their lives, and a lot of restrictions. And you can definitely be left on the edge of your seat when stuff happens. You may or may not know who to trust, and they may or may not know who to trust, and they may not even know if they can trust themselves. And it's a crazy, interesting story. So, like I said, the non-spoiler part, I'll just name a couple episodes that stuck out, and hopefully, if you haven't seen it, you will check it out soon. And if you do, like, come back and let me know what you think about it, because I would love to hear what people think about it, especially the people that aren't watching it yet, and that kind of feeling of starting something new that everyone keeps talking about, and you're like, I don't know about that. And I'm hoping that these are one of the shows, and I don't think this can run for 10 seasons. I mean, they can. It would be a disservice. I don't think it would be with the same characters for sure. But I think this is one of those things that has an end. And as stuff, like, even this season, a lot got revealed. So hopefully this doesn't go on. And I say this positively. Hopefully this doesn't go on forever. So Woe's Hollow is episode 4. That was one of my favorite episodes because though the team members kind of got out of the office and a lot happened outside of the office, it was crazy. And then speaking of that, like, if you ever go to like IMDb and go to Severance and look at the episodes, you're not gonna get like a full description of what's going on, which I think makes it even more intriguing, right? To keep that mystery going. Episode 7, Chikai Bardo, I believe it's called. I think that's the episode with Gemma and Mark's backstory. So you do have to go to season 2 to get that story, but it's so important. Especially now at the end, like, there's so much stuff in there that's so important for the season finale and just their story overall. So it was really good. The After Hours was season 9. That was the episode where people were talking about like the Twilight Zone, and I forgot the name of the. I think the name of the episode for the Twilight Zone was After Hours, and like if you watch breakdowns, they'll explain it. Like basically, it was like a mannequin that would come alive and then realize that they were a mannequin. Then they would go down to the ninth floor, and once they got to the ninth floor, they realized like, oh snap, there's other mannequins. Then they realize that everyone's kind of like rotating, taking turns coming alive and stuff like that. Um, and no, there are no mannequins that are coming alive. Um, they're not robots or anything, but those themes of like, being different on one floor to the next, and being able to be on a different floor and come alive, vice where you're supposed to be, stuff like that. So there are heavy themes like that. um I don't remember. There was a whole episode where um, they found the goat department. So I'm not gonna go crazy into that, but that was crazy. So there's definitely stuff going on, especially even in that one building. So when you think about all the stuff that's going on in that one building, and then you multiply that by like 200 or a couple hundred buildings, you don't know what's going on all over the world. But they find the goat department, and then like slowly you realize that there's other departments doing other things. Uh, that they're not all doing the same thing, which is, and you don't know why they're doing what they're doing. It's interesting. Um, and then Cold Harbor. Um, so if you haven't watched this, if you get to the scene where you see Mark um, putting together a what is it, a crib, a baby crib, Easter egg, look for it if you can. But the name of the company, or the product, or the company name that makes the crib, is called Kodubler, right? Basically, I think it's like German or something, but that's like a nod to Cold Harbor. And then you start you start looking at it like, how in the world is this related to Cold Harbor in Lumen? And makes you start wondering like, how far in these lives was Lumen, right? How much influence have they had over these people's lives for how many years, right? Because certain people that work at Lumen haven't been working there all their life, but then there's certain people at Lumen that have basically been born and raised in Lumen, and you get that kind of dichotomy. So um, those are kind of like my non-spoiler, um, just kind of like tidbits. Uh, there's a lot a strong elevated language for people using words, to the point where like some people are like, yo, stop talking like that, like I don't know what you're talking about. So you just get like this mixture of all these different characters, and histories, and personalities that make it awesome. So non-spoiler review, I would rate season 2 alone definitely an A. Definitely an A. If not an A plus, definitely an A. Strong A. It was a good season. I actually enjoyed watching this week to week. And every time I was finished with it, I couldn't wait. I couldn't wait to go in for the next episode to come out. So especially if you get to binge it, you're gonna enjoy it. Take your time with it. If you got to take breaks and look up videos to get understandings of what happened, do that. And I think it's one of those shows that after it's all over, you're gonna go rewatch all of it and be like, wow, they were planting these seeds and sowing these seeds from the beginning, and you wouldn't even know. So I'm gonna call it a highly recommended. Severance season 1, season 2, season 3 should hopefully it'll be out next year, but it definitely got greenlit. So non-spoiler review, check it out for sure. Okay, I'll even give it a thumbs up, for you. All right. Now, like I said, I'm not going to just go in and talk about like all the episodes and the Easter eggs and the breakdowns, and like there's videos that will talk about all of that stuff in depth. I'm just going to talk about the main group and their character development, and where we are now, and what kind of like I appreciated where those characters are. So this is going to be a little bit spoilery. So I'm going to start with Harmony. Now, there wasn't much of Harmony in season 2, and again, this is spoiler warning. There wasn't much of Harmony in season 2, but she had her own episode, Sweet Vitriol, episode 8. And in that episode, we basically got her backstory. Now, they didn't do a flashback, but she basically went back to her hometown, saw how like Lumen left it, how decrepit it was. People are on drugs. I forgot they call it. I forgot what the drug is, but it's like they kind of like huff. It's kind of like huff. That they kind of like they put it in like a rag and then they just like inhale it, and it makes them laugh and happy and all of that. But it's like there's no young people that live in the town. Like everyone's like either left or died off, and it's just like people just suffering. It's very cold. It's like frozen there. So, um, but you do kind of you. I'm not saying you're gonna walk out of there and like understand who she is, but you do get a big enough like understanding of somebody that was raised in Lumen and what that looks like. And then when you look at characters like Ms. Wong, um, Hong Wong, um, you realize that she's on Corbell's path, right? What you get out of that is you realize that Corbell is the person that came up with the concept of severance, and basically, Lumen, and the Egans took it and they made it their own and didn't give her credit for it, and now she's basically discarded. So now she's out for vengeance, but she got the book, right? She kept her notes. She got receipts. So besides seeing like where she comes from, seeing the relationship with her family, seeing that she basically missed out on, the life of her mom and her mom dying, the relationship she had with you know, other people in town. Like she had no like close friends or anything, just co-workers. I'm not saying you're gonna feel bad for her, but you realize like how detrimental movement could be, especially on young people's lives, people that are indoctrinated into the belief. Because like Lumen is more than a country or a company; it's a cult, right? And there's these people that like live by these ideas and practices. So you can see how that's affected her. Now, why she's so damn secretive and can't complete a damn sentence, nor like hey, what happened? Unfortunately, we don't get that. But she is who she is. It is what it is. It's cool that we got that. And it's cool that in this season we got to see stuff, so much stuff outside of the office, right? And then obviously she came in at the end, uh Now, the questions going forward with Corbell is one: did her and um, James Egan have a baby? Was she one of his ladies that he took advantage of and got pregnant? Did they get rid of that baby? Um, is Mark his baby? Is Devin one of his babies? We don't know. Hell, is Helly one of her babies? Because this whole time, and again, maybe some Easter egg people know better than me, but I don't know who Helly's mom is. And she definitely ain't around. So is Harmony Helly's mom? That's what I think. I think it would be a little bit insane if Mark and Helly were related by Jane being their dad, and Harmony let them have a relationship without her saying anything. Even if she was his mom and Jane was his dad, and they didn't, and she didn't want to be like, yo, I'm your mom. She could be like, yo, Helly's your sister. Like first, like like straight up your sister, half sister, but still your sister nonetheless. I don't think that she would be like, yo, you can, because she knows what they're doing. So I think in my opinion, I think it would make more sense for Helly to be her mom, and Helly may not even know that. Helly does kind of have an understanding that she has a bunch of siblings that she don't know. I don't think they would let Mark and Helly be brother and sister because they've had coitus, and at this point we don't know if they having a baby. So I don't think they would let that happen. Um, Dylan, I love Dylan's story arc this season. His wife coming in, him falling for Gretchen, him proposing to Gretchen, him feeling distraught that she was leaving. Uh, especially after Irving's not there on the floor anymore, you can see that like Dylan wants to feel wanted, needed, and noticed. Um, and he was feeling that with Gretchen, especially because she was just so upfront, right? Like, yo, my husband ain't doing what he's supposed to do up there. You remind me of who he used to be. And he latched onto that, and he really fell in love with that. And any kind of information he could get, knowing that, what his life is like up there, he's gonna latch onto that. But and the exchange that he had with Dylan with his Audi, and his Audi was just like, yo, I get it, but no, you can't have my wife. But I appreciate you what you're doing, and I like knowing that you're there. And that's a concept that a lot of innies, even with Mark and Mark S, like, do you even think about me? Do you even care like what I'm doing? Like, am I even a thought when you go home? And Dylan being like, knowing that you're there makes me feel good. I think makes any Dylan feel like he matters. So him being like, y'all want to get out of here, then Audi Dylan being like, well, let's talk about this, but I'm gonna leave it up to you. And then Dylan being like, nah, I'm gonna stay. Interesting that he didn't make a video though. Um, but the fact that he was able to write how he felt, I think any Dylan, felt like he understood Audi Dylan a lot better. And I'd say that his relationship is probably better than Mark and Marquez at this point. At least they got like an understanding. But also, Audi Dylan isn't asking any Dylan to like do anything crazy. So, Irving, the episode where they were outside at the retreat, and Wolves Hollow. I thought that Irving died. I thought he got shot or shut his brain off or something. The way that they ended that episode was crazy. The fact that he was able to tell that Helly wasn't who, tell that Helly was Helena, um, great. But now, like, I went back and I watched the first episode, like, of season 2, and he pays attention to stuff like that, and he questions stuff like that. Like, yo, you lying. Um, so like it didn't come out of nowhere. Like that's part of who he is. He pays attention to detail. I mean, he's a painter, right? And he appreciates art. So yeah, he pays attention to detail. Um, Now, still don't know what he does on the outside besides being a painter. We know that his dad was in the military in the Navy, but we don't know like what his regular life job was, whatever. He seemed like very lonely, didn't have any family, had a dog. Um, but then his relationship with Bert on the outside, and Bert let him go instead of taking him to his demise. Um, I don't know what that means. Like maybe they didn't want to give us a bad ending. Like they to me, regardless of Irvin dying or not, to me, I thought that after that episode, and we didn't know if he died or not, they never had to show him again. And I personally would have been okay with that. Just leave it out and open, leave it up to interpretation. Hell, we don't even know if Tony Soprano's dead. Like, leave it open to interpretation. But they gave us the finale, that what seems like a finality of him leaving on the train with his dog. Don't know where he's going. On the train to nowhere, or Last Stop USA. Will he come back? I don't know. Does that also mean that we'll never see Bert again? I don't know. We know that Christopher Walken and John Turturro, they're up in age. So maybe that was just a sweet goodbye. We'll see season 3. Um, I'll talk about Helly. Now, Helly did some real egregious stuff this season. Okay, Helly and Helena are both kind of like are bad girls. Um, and I don't know, you can analyze it. They could be two totally different bad girls or the same bad girl or whatever. Regardless of what Jane was saying when he snuck up on Helly and being like, yo, I don't love my daughter, but I see the fire of curing you. Whatever that means, that could be a kid, that could be a personality. We don't know. But I do know they are both troublemakers. Um, and rule breakers, and they'll go behind daddy's back real quick. Only Helly will kill somebody, including herself, to prove a point. Whereas Helena will just walk up on Mark in a bar or in a diner at night and have a weird ass conversation, knowing that she just slept with him. Crazy. The whole fact that in Wolves Hollow, that she went to the retreat not as Helly but as herself to have fun, to feel a part of something. I don't know, but slept with Mark. That was crazy. Talk about taking advantage. Now, I didn't even think about that. That's something her dad would do, right? Sleep with all those girls, severed, and then they don't remember what's going on. She did that to Mark, so she's foul. She's horrible. And Helly's just a rule breaker. And I guess in this case, on the path to getting Gemma, that was important. But I mean, I wouldn't get on her bad side for nothing. because I feel like she crazy. She crazy, crazy. And it's all good because y'all on the same side, but don't be on the opposite side. Yeah, she's insane, bro. She's insane as a Henny and a Audi. So I'm sorry Mark doesn't see that. But yeah, I mean she's done some crazy stuff. And if she is pregnant, did Helena get pregnant or did Helly get pregnant? And we know Helly slept with Mark S basically because Helena slept with Mark S over jealousy. Whereas in Dylan's case, Dylan was just like, yo, you can't see my wife no more. Right? And just shut it down. Not on, I'm not jealous. I'm putting my foot down. You can't go see this dude. So it's cool that you kind of have like those kind of different um, kind of like viewpoints and reactions to the stuff. Um, now, man, now the question is if Helly didn't show up at the door at the equator, if she didn't show up there at the end, would Mark have went through the door with Gemma? Like that's what I want to know. Which would that have happened, or would he have like ran back to go find her? I don't know, but I think her being there definitely made his decision a little bit easier. Now, theories for season 3, people are like, well, they're just gonna take over the 7th floor, kick everybody else out, and try to like pirate ship it and live wild and free down there. But Lumen has a kill switch. I'm sure they have a kill switch that is not accessible to them anymore from season 1. I think they learned that lesson. So I don't think that's gonna work out the way that they think. Um, And then like we saw Helena's relationship with her dad and the whole thing with I wish you would take it raw or eat it raw. Crazy. Her dad is insane. Um and drank the Kool-Aid much, yeah, but probably like tries to hide behind the whole Kier religion. You know what I mean? And probably feels safe behind it, but then does really whatever he wants, um, which a lot of billionaires do, right? You can't blame them for that. It's just scary. But his relationship with his daughter is pretty disgusting. But he even flat out was like, "Yo, I don't love her." So now the thing is, I don't see him putting up any other kids to be like, "Yo, y'all be the future of Lumen and Kier and all of that." I'm wondering if Mr. Drummond. I feel like Mr. Drummond is one of James's kid because there was a exchange between Helena and Mr. Drummond in like a boardroom, and he basically called Jane dad or daddy or something or father. I think it was father. He didn't call him dad. He called him father, which is very formal, but very like not personal either. Kind of like you the bastard, right? Oh, like father, but he can't be like your dad said because he ain't close like that. And I know other people have pointed down in like breakdowns and stuff. There's like, you know, kind of like hints of other kids that are around and doing other stuff, and it makes sense why if Drummond is the bastard child, why he would have like an important position, but not be able to like be the leader in the face of everything, right? So, I mean, this ain't Game of Thrones. Um, and I think like through Helena and Helly, well, especially Helena, we kind of get to see what the Egan family dynamic is like. And I feel like we learned more about the Egans this year than we ever did. Um, and maybe the purpose of all of this is to try to reincarnate Kier. That's what it seems like. The question is, are they going to try to reincarnate it in Helena's body? Are they hoping that she has a baby and that baby is going to be the reincarnation of him? Is James trying to be the reincarnation? Is he trying to get reincarnated? Um, but you can see like whatever their kind of agenda isn't what everyone else's is, and not what everyone believes in. And we don't even know if like Harmony Corbell knows the full story. Maybe she only knows what she's supposed to know. Um, one of the standout characters for me this year was Milchick, and regardless of how you look at his character, whether you want to look at him being black, um, or being put in a role that he really wanted, but people don't trust him in, or being one of those managers that does too much, and tries to like go way beyond trying to like appease the higher beings, and the higher ups. If you ask me, it seems like Milchek used to be part of, what is it, M&H, right? Choreo or C&H, choreography and merriment. Um, it's because that dance scene and that last episode was awesome, right? He had like he was looking like my man from Drumline. What's the Orlando Bloom? Not Orlando Bloom. Orlando Brown? No, not Orlando Brown. What is it? Orlando. Let me see. Drum line was Orlando Jones. Excuse me, Orlando Jones was Dr. Lee, and boy did Milchick uh, embody that, right, with the dancing and the moves and the merriment and all of that, right? He was getting down, and we've seen him get down in season one. We ain't never seen him get down like this, and he was in his element. Um, and that contrast to when he was going back and forth with the Kier statue, um, droid or whatever you want to call it, and he was probably having the exchange. I think that was Mr. Drummond, because Mr. Drummond like left the room and went to go somewhere else, and I felt like that he was in charge of that, especially when he was telling him like to lower his like vocabulary. Forgot exactly what he said, but what did Milchek say? Um, wasn't eat. What did he say? He said Milchek said something fetulence. Devour fetulence. I'm gonna put that in here. Devour. I mean, talk about putting that on a t-shirt. Feculence. Devour fetulence. Um, yeah, but that exchange, right? I forgot what episode that was. Oh no, that was Sweet Vitriol, because that was the episode where they were like, "Yo, where's Mark?" Right? No, that was in After Hours. So that was in episode 9. Yeah, that was in episode 9, and trying to figure out where Mark was, and they were trying to put that on Milchick, and Milchick told Drummond, "Yo, devour fetulence." because he was coming after his vocabulary, but they've low key been trying to come at his vocabulary all season, right? And then you had Miss Wong, um, even kind of mention it, right? And then that was on his when he did his review, his little peer review thing, and they had it on that, and he was trying to like dumb down his vocabulary. Now again, like you could look at it as being black, you could look at it as, you know, corporate trying to make you fit in the box. However you want to look at it, I think that he is at the precipice of trying to break the ceiling. What is it? The corporate ceiling, and they won't let him. They're only gonna let him go so far, and only he's gonna have to realize that, like, yo, they're not gonna let me. They're not gonna let me shine. But put him in Dr. Lee's role. Let him be in charge of choreography and merriment. He can do whatever he wants. Oh, you want to do a celebration? You want to have a waffle party? You want to do a watermelon celebration? Hell, we'll even let you run the floor, but you're only going to get so far. And however you want to look at that, I think he realizes that his light is only going to shine so far. When he was under Corbell, he wanted to be where she was because he thought that role was significant. But now that he's in that role, he sees like he's just managing, he's just doing what he was doing, just getting paid more, right? You're just managing people. But he wants something more. They're not gonna let him climb that ceiling. He doesn't have the name, right? He doesn't have we don't even know where he came up through, right? Maybe he didn't get plucked from the right town. We don't know. I would love for them to give him a backstory just like they give Corbell a backstory. And not only that, I'm trying to figure out if he has a thing uh for old girl, for Natalie, for Natalie, played by Sydney Cole Alexander. And you can see, like, even again, none of the people that actually work for Lumen for real have like relationships. Even if Drummond and Helly are brother and sister, they don't have a relationship. No one has a relationship. And I think like there are times when, especially in like the first episode where Milchek was trying to like look at Natalie like, yo, give me some insight. Like you deal with these people in a different space than I do. You know, brother to sister. What's up? She ain't giving him nothing. Now, is she doing that because she's afraid to lose her job if she puts him in? Is she afraid that he's gonna come and take her job? Those are concepts that people explore in kind of work environments all the time. Is he in love with her? Did they grow up together? Is it more of a like a real relationship? Like, yo, like, come on, man, you know me. Like, what's up? She ain't trying to give him nothing. Um, or does she think she's better than him? Is it literally Drumline where she was the character that who do you call it played? What was the chick's name in Drumline? Zoe Saldana. Yeah, she played Layla, and Layla thought that she was too good for Devin. Um, is it that? You know what I mean? Is that the type of relationship that they have? Um, so again, I mean, like I see the actor that plays Milchek. He's doing like a lot of tours and um, behind the scenes stuff. Not behind the scenes, but like like he's going on different talk shows and stuff. Like he's really getting his just due, and I really appreciate that. Um, Tremel Tillman. Um, but his character, oh man, then when he jumped up and did that damn Spider-Man pose at the end, and the room was red, and all of them was standing there like a damn army about to attack him, and he looked like a real villain. Oh man, that was crazy. Crazy. And like he was just like he was gonna try to break out of that bathroom no matter what. And they always be getting over on him. And that's the other thing. They really be getting over on him. He's like the damn sub the sub teacher that they just be getting one over on. Um but I mean he was gonna die trying to get out of that damn bathroom. Um but you could see like the control that he thinks he has that he doesn't really have. And it's gonna take something to really humble him to get him on the good side. And I think they need him. And I'm hoping there's enough bad people at Lumen. I'm hoping that he comes to the good side. But again, I can't trust him 100%, just like I can't trust Harmony 100%. Now, Gemma, I think I'll talk about Gemma and Mark last. I think I think that episode where they really is it the Chikai Bardo, right, where they explore their romance. What a beautiful episode, right? Exploring their relationship and their love and their ups and downs and their struggles and their good times and bad times and how it really affected them. Um, and yeah, like maybe the seeds of Mark being an alcoholic was sown in that when they lost the baby, and then they lose the baby, and then he turns around and loses her. Um, but man, just this season, seeing like what she was really going through, like we thought that she was just Miss Casey and she was just going in the room and giving them therapy. They're putting her through it, and the fact that when she's not in those rooms, she's unsevered, and she's been gone for years, right? She's literally their slave. She can't escape. And she's like literally like, yo, can I go home to my husband? And they're lying like, nah, your husband moved on. And that's the other thing about that last scene, because that old dude said that he moved on and she didn't believe him. But then that last shot, she sees Mark running off with Helly. So maybe she's really gonna believe that. Even regardless of her like them kissing and all of that stuff in the elevator or the elevator, um, in the hallway. I don't know. People are like, "Oh, she's gonna get stuck." I'm hoping like I'm hoping Devin and Corbella like in the parking lot, like waiting for her to come up the stairs, and they just get rid of her, and then they just like let Mark figure it out. But it would suck if she goes back in there to go get him. And I know like that's a theory that people are coming up with, but I hope not. Just protect her. And Mark S did what he said he was gonna do. He was gonna save her. Um, but he didn't say he was gonna let them be together. Um, but man, like I just feel so bad for her. Like she's been stuck there for years and we don't know why. People think she died. Like Luma's just a very bad place, and they could be doing this all over the world, um, and put her through all those traumatic rooms, and year and day after day, and then finally throwing her in the clothes that she supposedly died in to make her like realize like what's coming. So sad. And then the crib situation, and she blank slate going in there. taking it apart, trying to put it back together. But that scene where they like finally saw each other, I don't care what you say, that is way stronger and more romantic than um, whatever they did with Helly and Mark. So, I mean, I think that's what we've all been waiting for. And I'm glad that whether it works out or not, hopefully they see each other again on the outside. But at least we had that moment. I think they needed that. But now she devastated. She seen her man run away. It's crazy. Um, and then Mark and Marquez, right? So sorry for this man. Like I didn't pick up on him lying at first when they were doing the camera thing. And shout out to the whole like Golem and Smeagol thing when they were going back and forth and switching sides and colors and all of that stuff, having them talk through the camera and all of that stuff. I mean, that was a brilliant scene. But I didn't pick up on him being disingenuous in the beginning. Towards the end, yeah, towards the end, definitely. Towards the end, he was trying to like get all aggressive, and they were saying that all of that bad energy that they had was building up between them because they were carrying it over every time they switched. Um, but regardless, um, Mark has been through it. Has been through it, and we finally got the full story of what happened with him losing his teaching job. He got heavier on the bottle. They let him go. He didn't have anything else. He decided to get severed. Now again, he's not like indoctrinated, but he went along with the procedure because he recognized he was falling apart. And you can kind of see like why his sister is so much like why Devin is so much like concerned because she's afraid he's gonna fall off the wagon. And now he trying to do all the reintegration stuff. It's even crazier. Um, Now I don't know what's going on with Devin. I don't know if she's working for Corbell. She's like real shady this season, and her husband Rickon has not been seen this season. I don't think. I think he might have been shown once when he was trying to when Luma was trying to get involved with him or something. I think in the beginning. I don't know what's going on with them, but Adam Scott is playing one hell of a role, and anytime he plays these characters so effortlessly, you don't realize that he's playing two different characters. I mean, all of them, all of the innies, really, but especially him because he got the most screen time dealing with other people outside, right? With his sister, with Corbell, um, when old boy was his old co-worker, was talking to him, with the girl. What was the black girl? Uh, is it a Sal? Oh, Regabi. Regabi? 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 I think that's how you say it. Regabi. He's dealing with her, like he's dealing with all of these different people on the outside. And then he's the main character on the inside. And Adam Scott, Milchek, I think they're gonna win awards this year. I honestly think so. Um, Hell of acting by Adam Scott, making you feel for both characters because Mark and Mark S are both, in love with two different girls and trying to hold on to their relationships. Um, and you can really see what that core character is between the characters. Um, and like he ain't helpless no more. Both of them are willing to fight for theirs. Even to the fact that Mr. Drummond got caught in the crossfire. But Mr. Drummond was beating the hell out of him, wasn't he? That was crazy. I don't know where that came from. I guess he was like, "We don't need you no more." But that was, and maybe he knows that's his brother or something, man. And I don't know what's going on. But that needs to be explained because that was out of nowhere. Like we have never seen him being like, "Yo, I want to kill dude." It's not like he fought Milchek. Like he was just like, oh, "I'm gonna kill you. I'm going to kill you." Crazy. I don't know if that was jealousy or what, but and even that last scene, what was that? The last 20, 30 minutes, that whole like on the severed, like that whole severed floor, Lumen, all of that by AdamScott. Oh my god, all them different characters he was playing, switching back and forth like that. Hell, even before that in the cabin, but especially on the seventh floor. Oh my god, like yo, bravo, bravo, right? I don't know, bravo. This could be the picture. All right, bravo. Okay, Severed, season 2, bravo, AdamScott, bravo, man. Um, I think that's everybody that I wanted to talk about. And like I said, I wanted to do shout out to Gretchen. She did a hell of a job, and being able to see that Dylan's family on the outside. But and shout out to Christopher Walken as Bert. Um, like that dinner scene was crazy, but like those were the people that I wanted to talk about. Those were the characters that stuck out to me. Other characters might have stuck out to you. Um, And for me, I'm a character person. I'm a story person, but I'm a character person. And I think they did a hell of a job this year. And I know Apple is like pushing them, right? They need Severance to make all the money in the world to recoup all of the billions and dollars that they were losing. I get it. It is about to be Severance everything for the rest of the year. People are gonna be dressing up as them, going to damn Halloween parties, parades, office parties, retirements, all of that. I get it. But they deserve. Sorry, they deserve it. Hell of a season. Shout out to Ben Stiller. Um, writing wise, directing wise, all of these characters they deserve it, and I hope they all stick around to give us more. Um, says the writers are Dan Erickson, Muhammad El Masari, Amanda Overton, Chris Black, and Helen Lay. Created by Dan Erickson. Um, and shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. So again, I recommend you guys watch Severance. I wanted to keep this short and sweet. I wanted to give my 2 cents in. Because there's not a lot of great television on right now. So we'll see. I got to do some research and try to see what's going to be great this year. The Last of Us is coming out next month, but we'll see. But as a person again that didn't start out with Severance when in 2022, but as a person that like is in it now and watched it week to week, um, great, 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 great writing, great acting, great directing. If you guys are interested, go check out some of those breakdowns, some of those details. I mean, because they got stuff down to the minute, especially coming down the elevator. They got stuff timed. All of the all of the um, pictures and artwork and stuff that they have. I'll put that up last. I'm painting from Cole Harbor. Yeah, because I mean, they even got like some of these paintings are just crazy. Hell, I mean that's a whole thing by itself. I don't want that to be a video that plays. I think those are all gonna be, yeah. I guess they're. It looks like the best kind of place to find them probably gonna be on Reddit. I mean, some of these are just crazy how they just come up with this stuff, and I don't even know like how far in advance they be like coming up with these ideas. Um, I was trying to find the painting, but it seems like it's hard to find like it like in one piece because there's so many like sections of it. It looks like it's all just kind of like broken down. Let's see. There you go. Yeah. Again, like I mean, there's so many people in this painting that like people in the back, people that were like in Rickon's house and stuff here. The people that was at his house, the weird other the people from when they were at Wolves Hollow. I don't even know what they call it. What you call them? That Helly's here, Helly's up here. Just so much. This. Oh yeah, that's the sister. Yeah, and bring back the B team. I'm gonna just call them the B team. That was in episode 1. I love those people, and I thought they were gonna come back. I don't know what happened to them, but bring them back. But yeah, man, like that's it. Just jump in. Just jump in. Um, and I don't know. Maybe we'll have more to talk about later. Maybe there'll be theories and ideas and stuff. I don't know, but I'm at least season 1, season 2 till it falls off a cliff. Uh, enjoy it. Enjoy it. All right. That's my whole thing. Spoiler, non-spoiler, Severance, season 2. Go enjoy all 19 episodes. Binge it. Take your time. And as you're watching it, come back here, leave comments. Let me know who your favorite characters are. Let me know the characters you don't like. Let me know what your theories are. What do you think is going to happen next? Uh, and as always, man, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Like, share, subscribe, yada, 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 all of that. Peace. See y'all soon.